Hey guys, welcome to another movie review. Today, as you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be talking about Captain America, Brave New World, or as I like to call it, Captain America, Winter Soldier Light. So Captain America, Brave New World is a new film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, their 35th entry into this franchise. Isn't that just absolutely nuts? Directed by Julius Onah, based on a screenplay by Rob Edwards, Malcolm Spellman, Dalen Moosen, Julius Onah, and Peter Glantz. And then you have your cinematographer here, Kramer Morgenthau, and music by Laura Cartman. Sorry. Cartman, I guess, just a little Freudian slip there. Let's talk about this movie, guys, starting with the story. Look, if you've been paying attention to the stuff around Brave New World, it had a title change. There's been a lot of stories about reshoots and this whole movie getting overhauled at a couple points. And you can definitely tell it during this movie. So the story is kind of muddled. It seems like there's kernels of some good stuff in this story, but overall, it does lack kind of that punch you would really hope from some of the other great Captain America entries in this franchise. That's why I'm going to settle on giving Brave New World a 6. Now, let's jump into the acting. This is a pretty solid cast. I like a lot of the guys here. Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, taking on the role of Captain America. I'm giving him a solid 9 in this one. I think he carries the film very well. And it stinks because I think there's some scenes that he carries with such gravitas, but there's also times where I feel like he just gets some terrible stuff to say, and I don't want to put all that on him. He's just the actor who has to say the words. I think some of the writing let him down on this. Then also in this film, Danny Ramirez plays Joaquin Torres, or as we'll probably come to know him as our new Falcon. We'll see. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. He was funny. He had some great moments here and there. He might get on people's nerves, hard to tell, but I thought he was okay. Didn't get as much to do as I thought he might. Then you have Shira Haas, who's playing Ruth Bat Seraph. So in the movie, she's like the security council, she's like the director of security for the president, and she's supposedly a Black Widow. I heard that this character got some reworking based on the reshoots and stuff. So it used to be like an Israeli something or other fighter, and now they turned her into a Black Widow, I guess, to avoid political controversy, I guess, if you want to believe that rumor. I don't know. All I know is I feel bad for her. I feel like the script didn't do her any favors. And I also feel like she just might have been miscast in this role. It felt really weird at times whenever she was on screen. Not that she had a couple good spots here and there, but I think overall she just, I don't know, was kind of the weak link of this cast, if I'm being honest with you. Other than Carl Lumbly, comes back as Isaiah Bradley. If you watch the Disney Plus series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he was in that show. He was awesome there. He's awesome in this. He's one of the best things about this film. His story in this film is actually one of the highlights for me. I gave him a 9 out of 10. Then they brought in Giancarlo Esposito, who I love as an actor. He plays Seth Volker, or Sidewinder, the leader of this group called the Serpent Society. I'm giving him an 8.5 out of 10. While he's great, I think he's one of my favorite actors out there today. He's always menacing. He does a good job as the bad guy. The script doesn't give him much because I think he was also a product of the reshoots, of the rewrites. So his character kind of got added in later. And if you really pay attention to the movie, you could kind of tell where a lot of his scenes felt like, yeah, they just kind of cut and paste him in here to do a couple things. Because a lot of the action around his scenes when he's in it aren't as polished, I feel like, as some other scenes in the movie, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. Then you have Tim Blake Nelson, who plays our villain in the film. You don't really see him in the trailers, but he plays Samuel Stearns, a.k.a. the leader. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I think he's very one-note a lot of times in this film, but he's a great actor. I know he does great stuff, but in this film, they don't give him a whole lot to do. He does a lot of menacing talking, and he's got to really commit to this voice that he uses in the film, which kind of gets old after a while. But I feel like, again, he's an actor and a character that kind of got done dirty by some of the writing. And then Harrison Ford comes in here as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, the president, obviously replacing William Hurt, who played Thunderbolt Ross in the previous Marvel movies. So I think he does a good job here. He's one of the best parts. I love Harrison Ford on Shrinking lately. I've been rewatching Shrinking and getting into season 2 of that. And he's just been killing it lately for me. So Harrison Ford doing a great job there. So overall, the acting, I'm going to give a 56 out of 70 possible there. Let's talk about the cinematography. Cinematography, good, not great. kind of middle of the road. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 5. There's times where I feel like this film is shot absolutely gorgeous. Then there's times where you could tell, like maybe during reshoots, it just, I don't know, just didn't have the same feel, didn't kind of have the same look to it. So something changed there in that process. But never at any point did I think it looked terrible, cinematography wise. So like I said, 7.5. Special effects animation. Now, I know Marvel movies are known for their special effects, and there's a couple of great sequences in this film, like a dogfight scene over the Indian Ocean, which was incredibly well done, really well animated. Special effect, all that stuff was great, worked really well. The Red Hulk in this film looks fantastic too, but there's also some spotty stuff kind of laden throughout. Again, a byproduct of whatever the reshoots were, but it didn't take me out of the movie as much as I feel like other people said that some of the bad special effects did. Editing wise, yeah, at times it felt choppy. Stories felt uneven, and the editing probably did their best to make this a streamlined narrative. And I don't know, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It wasn't terrible editing, wasn't great editing. The film at times didn't check my watch, but in my head I was like, man, we're really kind of slowed down, and I don't know what's happening here. Why some decisions were made editing wise. So yeah, that's why I'm settling on that. The score also never really stood out to me, but by no means did I think it was bad at any point. So that's why I'm giving that a 3 out of 5. And then the direction. Look, like I said, the reshoots probably hurt this quite a bit, or maybe it helped it from being something that was terrible. But the direction here felt a little aimless. It felt like they had like 5 different directions they wanted to go in, and they couldn't stick with it. And that's why at the end of the day, I'm going to give it a 6. I just didn't feel like this was the strongest MCU film. Definitely not their worst, but definitely had so many issues laden throughout. So at the end of the day, this is getting a total score of 90 points out of 120 possible, giving it a 75% even, which makes it a C. So this is a very middle of the road film, a film I think that could be enjoyable for people. Don't get me wrong, I thought this film was enjoyable. I had my problems with it, but by no means did I think it was bad. So bad that I wouldn't tell somebody to go out and check it out. It had its moments. I feel like it pushes the MCU's like overall story just a tiny bit. We get some explanation finally around like the Eternals creature that's in the Indian Ocean. We get some other stuff, and essentially this is also like a sequel to the second MCU film, The Incredible Hulk. It's tying up a lot of threads from that movie, which I thought was pretty interesting. So yes, those are my thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World. What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. And we'll see you next time for another review. Not sure what it's going to be. I'm going to try to watch The Gorge on Apple TV Plus. Kind of excited about that. Maybe that'll be the next review. And until then, I'll be seeing you.